And so what service does your job mainly provide?
Well, we teach kite surfing, so that's anybody who wants to learn how to kite surf, and normally they're surfers or windsurfers or other people that like to paddle or play around in the water a lot, and they get a little bit sick and tired of when the wind comes up, they can't do anything, and then eventually they call up and ask for kite surfing lessons.
Do you do your lessons in the creek or in the ocean?
A little bit in the creek, sometimes up in the Broadwater at Runaway Bay, but also anywhere between Kirra and the Spit, depending on the wind direction. So you need onshore winds, not fully onshore and not offshore at all. So that's what we do, and it changes depending on the wind.
And what's your pay? How often do you receive your pay? What are some of the skills you acquire to do?
Well, we get paid for a lesson. So I've got 2 other instructors, young instructors that work with me, and lessons cost $180 for 2 hours, and we provide the equipment. And so people normally pay at the time of the lesson. So if you don't work for a week, then you don't get paid in the kite surfing business. So yeah, that's it. You just get paid for lessons.
What are some of the skills you acquire to do your job?
You need to be able to kite surf. You need to know how to teach as well, which is how to know the different stages of what to teach them and help a person progress through the stages. So you're kind of like ticking off certain things that they need to know how to do, and it can be a little bit dangerous, so you need to really teach them how to fly the kite first. So it's not just how you fly it, it's how to teach someone else how to fly it. So there's stages and progression in that. And also to know, it's a big skill to know when to not move forward, to work out what they're having difficulty with, why they're actually doing what they're doing and having problems. So it takes a bit of experience, a lot of patience, and certainly a lot of desire to help people.
What equipment do you need to do your job?
We have a kite. I use Ben Wilson kites. He's an Australian guy, and really well priced and good quality kites. And he provides us, so we're like a mini Jeep kite surfing school. He provides us with the equipment, and then we provide that equipment to the students. So we have 5 metre, 6 metre, 8 metre, 10 metre and 12 metre kites, and that's all the size of the sail, and that's the bigger the kite, the more wind it picks up. So a smaller person with smaller wind, a smaller person with bigger wind would have a very small kite, and a bigger person in smaller wind would have a very big kite, and of course everything in between as well. So we change that depending on the weight of the person and the strength of the wind.
What are the main risks in doing your job?
Well, part of the other equipment that we have is we have a harness, and the kite is connected to a bar and lines, and it's connected to the harness, and then you use the bar and lines to steer the kite. And if you grab, when the wind starts to pull you because you're connected to the harness, if you grab too tight, then you power the kite up and you get lifted off the ground. So it can get quite dangerous, but it shouldn't be, because all you have to do is let go of the bar, and basically that you save yourself straight away. So that's probably the main danger, is the wind being too strong and people not being taught properly and not knowing how to let go. So maybe teaching themselves off YouTube, or buying a kite off of eBay and just running out and putting the kite up. So also putting the kite in the wrong spot in the wind is dangerous, and also things like other people's kites, surfboards, rocks that you end up near, or things on the beach, fences, trees, the sand itself. If you fly up in the air and land on the sand, you can break your legs and stuff like that. So it shouldn't happen. It's never happened in one of our lessons, because we look after people, but that's what happens to people that don't actually know what they're doing.
And what are some of the positives and negatives about your job?
You're in the water. It's a wonderful experience being in the water and helping people. So they get a real thrill once they think they can't do it, and then you help them work out what it is they're doing, and you fix it, and next minute they take off and they can't believe they've progressed. And so it's a great feeling to share that experience, that they feel like they've just broken through something. And of course, they're not just learning how to drive a car, they're actually flying a kite, a massive kite. So they're actually riding the wind and skimming across the water. So it's an incredible feeling to be riding nature, and it's very silent, and so it can be a very peaceful sport and a peaceful thing to teach it in moments. Difficult side is that some days when the wind really pumps and is strong, you might have to do a heap of lessons in a short amount of time. So you know, throughout the middle of the day and do back-to-back lessons and have a couple of people flying at once and running around between those people. It gets quite tiring making sure everyone's safe. And it's, of course, you're in the sun all day, you don't get to eat properly, so you've got to have snacks in between and water and everything else, and plenty of sun cream, hats, sunglasses, all those sort of things. So that's a challenging thing, and also the fact that the wind can stop blowing. So if it was your only business, which is not my only business, but if the wind stopped blowing for a week or two, which it often does, you wouldn't be able to pay the rent.